welcome to all our viewers for today's literary program. Today we're in the beautiful home of Mebandaiaka, who is our face today, and she'll be talking about her creative nature and what she does. She is known as MBD and she writes in the pseudonym as MBD, and you can check out her writings in Instagram and also in FB. A very warm welcome, Mebandaiaka, to our program today. So tell me about your journey, as what made you, start writing, and how it went about and what inspired you.
Writing has always been my passion. So right from a very young age, I used to love to write, and I've continued writing, but I've never really been very confident about putting it out in public. But when COVID started and the lockdown started, and everyone felt caged up, and I myself felt that there was a need not only to express myself, but in many ways, I wanted to make people smile, even in the dark times. So most of my write-ups are usually, they have a humorous thread to it,
Right.
because I just feel that that's my contribution to lighten the mood, so to speak, of one of the darkest periods that we've had to go through.
Okay, that's wonderful, because I'm sure I've checked out your writings also, and yes, like you said very rightly, it is very humor. You have this sense of humor which I think a lot of people can relate to, or if not, the moment they will read, a line or two, they will enjoy, and at least they will, even if they're alone, they will just laugh out loud. So I think that is really wonderful. So having said that, when you said that you started, you always had that neck for writing, or you always wanted to write. So what made you that confidence, and how do you feel that when you say you enjoy humor personally, so what motivates you to keep going? Because I'm sure there will be times when it's difficult to write down or pen down sometimes, or express, like you said. So how do you manage to do that?
See, it all goes back to as a child, there was only my brother and I, and so my brother had a number of friends, but I was always left out most of the time, and that's when my father started encouraging me to write. And when I started writing, I don't know, I'm more bent towards the humor bit, I feel. So it's nice because you get to express yourself in many ways, but I think most of it is mainly because I had to read a lot, storybooks, Enid Blyton, there's that. There wasn't much, because I didn't have play friends, and so the reading really helped me in the sense. So that's what I keep telling, students when I used to teach. I used to tell them that if you read a lot, it automatically comes down, you get inspired, and so you start writing. But where humor is concerned, I don't know, yeah. I think I'm just one of those who's just bent towards humor more than the serious. I can't write politics or anything of the sort. So that's my niche, more or less.
I think that's a refreshing change, because we of course there are a lot of important things we talk about, but when you say you're bent on humor, I think that's very important. And when we started our conversation, you said that even in the darkest days, which till now also we are still in that medium where we don't know. Life is still so unpredictable. So I think every day a dose of humor always keeps you alive, But having said that, where do you derive? Are you an observant person? Because when you say, that is again subjective to my opinion, and I would like to know yours actually, and I'm sure our viewers would also love to know, because please do check out her FB page and her Instagram page in the name of MBD, where she writes, so you all also can enjoy, add a slice of humor to your life, because I have checked it out personally, and that is what actually made me come to you and actually ask you, because I think it's pretty inspiring, especially for younger lot, when we see a lot of, like how you've said, going through. And what I gather, what you've said, which is very personal, is also that you are very introverted, so hence expressing or making friends. And nowadays I see a lot of young people who are that, and the way they can connect is writing. I think that is something they can also look into, get inspired from you, that yes, this is one medium. Because I mean, when we say how you express, there are a lot of other mediums. So writing was, like you said, reading was something that came naturally to you. That's wonderful. So are you an observant person, or where do you get the humor from? Like, I understand you have the neck for humor, but it usually stems up from observing the mundane and sometimes the idiosyncrasies of situations. So what actually makes you pick up those humor from?
I think in many ways, I've been talking with friends and all about this. The truth of the matter is, I am one of those people who I wish it had come in handy in academics, but everything gets imprinted in my brain, except for the things that should, like. So I was never a star student or anything. But when it comes to humor, I just turn to it in the sense that in the minute it gets gloomy, or I've been through a lot, everyone has,
Yes.
as a matter of fact, but I would rather, I bounce back in with humor. And so observant, I think I am, in the sense that I remember details. So, and this comes in handy when you're writing.
Right.
So, as far as the humor aspect is concerned, I feel too many people live in this whole, gloomy aspect of woe is me, and I do that too. But I bounce back very quickly with, with something funny, because I like making people laugh, basically. So I'm not a comedian, but in my write-up, if I can make one person smile and look at, something ordinary, and yet to see, look at it from a different angle, I feel that, I've accomplished something. So
Yes, absolutely. And what you have really, I think I'm sure our viewers will connect, is that experiences also teaches you. And it is, without sounding more patronizing, I would say it is indomitable force, because like you said, everyone goes through our, dark periods of time. But what you gather from there and how strong you push yourself to come out of that situation. I think that is a very indomitable spirit. I think especially our younger Lord needs to, get that spirit, because like you said, it is so disheartening to see younger Lord. I see a lot of younger people being so disheartened very easily. So when you say with your experiences, you have taken it out of very positive, very, very positive. So kudos to you for that, because I think sometimes in our difficult situations, it is really, really tough. So you take coming out from there and looking at it in a very, positive, and reaching out and creating a situation for other people to enjoy your writing. I think that's wonderful. So if there is anything which you would say pick up, or in future would you like to write more, what would you go for? Or would you like to continue, of course, besides writing, would you like to write with humor? Would you like to, tell us, or rather, make us curious about your writing? When you say that, would you like to, in the future lane, when you go down, would you like to, write books or something like that? It's in the pipeline, or you're thinking of?
actually, I am thinking of, because if you go to my Insta page, you'll find that initially I started off with a lot of poems,
Right.
and but on the flip side, on the same day, while I'm writing a very dark poem, I can write something very funny on Facebook. So, everyone tells me how, everyone's supposed to have this special genre that you work around, right?
Usually it's categorized.
Categorized. But who set the rules, right?
Right.
For me, when I write poetry, I don't know why, but it's always dark. But when I write prose, then automatically I can, make it funny. So, as for future plans, yes, I am planning a book.
Wonderful.
Hopefully a humorous book. But I also feel that my poems, because I feel I connect more with my poems, because there's a lot of everything is reflected in those that is reflected in those poems is something which is, there's a common thread that binds everybody. Everybody else has gone through those emotions, and in poetry, I feel you have to employ word economy, more or less. Like, in a few words, you have to pack in all your emotions. So I feel maybe even for young people, a lot of young people, they have this potential of writing poetry, but they don't, because they feel poetry has to rhyme. My poetry doesn't rhyme at all. That is, I'm a rebel where that's concerned. I refuse to make my poems rhyme, because poetry is more about emotions and how you reflect life. So hopefully the book comes out and
All the best for that, and we would be really looking forward. One interesting thing which you've mentioned, because when we started with the flow of our conversations, you just, yeah, humor gets you, and then and you've gone through a lot. But something which you've just said now, which this is something I want to talk about with you, is that you said your poems reflect the dark part. When you said the humor, so there's this paradigm shift of mindset, and I understand that. But for our viewers, I think it's very important also, because I'm sure they must be wondering. We started a conversation saying about humor, emphasizing on humor, and then you say, of course, your experiences are what you actually become. Even I believe that strongly. Having said that, you said, yeah, your poems have this dark nature of it. Of course, like you said, rules are just certain. Of course, there are certain genres or certain rules, but like how you said, it doesn't have to rhyme. You can write a couplet, you can write just few lines, and that's how it goes. But having said that, do you think, or would you rather, I'm asking you, when it comes to the dark nature of the poem, is it the experiences which you feel that you can narrate to through your poems, like you said, how you can relate to, and the humor part is just like how you have come out of it? I'm just like gathering I would not say simile, but kind of a better understanding of where it is coming from for our viewers too.
the truth is, if we are all honest, all of us, like we have the light and the dark exists within
Absolutely.
us, right? But for some reason, there's this unwritten rule that you're supposed to, talk only about the light, because then, people say, everything is, fancy dory in your life.
Yes.
But the truth is, the darkness, when I write dark poems, they don't always end, on a dark note. There's an element of positivity there, but I feel there is this need to address the darkness in you also.
Absolutely.
Because what you've been through,
Right.
and when I say darkness, it doesn't necessarily mean, negative, anything
yes,
negative,
yes.
but to address the part of you where if you don't address it, nobody else will, right? And so there's no that, you don't have that cathartic release, so to speak.
Absolutely.
So for me, as much as my friends and family and all, they always tell me, why don't you just concentrate on humor? Yes, I do love humor. I do love writing about funny things, but I also have there's this need inside of me to actually address
Yes.
the pain, the hurt
Yes.
that I've gone through, and I need to show this, that it's okay. It's okay to be this and that. You don't have to just be this angel of light who speaks, who makes everybody laugh. The truth is, you're human, so
Yes.
you need to address both.
Very true. And I think you have touched a human chord, when you say that, because I think it's very important. Because sometimes, yes, positivity is like, it's important because you need to, come out of the darkness which you've gone, like any one of us must have gone or are going through, sometimes. But also it is important, like they say, healing is a process when you actually start healing, when you actually acknowledge the darkness you've gone through. And writing and expressing yourself, I think that is, like you say, it is a cathartic expression of yours. And I'm sure when our viewers will read those poems, they can also say, yes, this can happen, this is what even I'm going through, or perhaps or my friend has gone through, I'm seeing it. They can relate to and say it's okay. Because I think, how you said, when it comes to poems also, the rules, so is the image. The falsification of that image of always being happy or always trying to put out positive. Yes, positivity is good, but also we need to address the negativity which we are endorsing, or we have gone through, or enduring rather, and then come out of it with positivity. I think that's very, very something. I think it touched my chord, and I'm sure it must have touched our, the viewers who are watching today, especially the younger lot, like you said. And I am seeing they are so claustrophobic when it comes to the emotions, because they feel again being judged. How you said that people say that, yes, you need to have the positivity. It is within you. It is within you which is coming out. But very, very rightly said, and I'm really, you said very true. You have, if it's on all truthness, yes, we have to acknowledge the darkness we go through, and also to put it out there. It takes a lot of courage. I think people feel very intimidated Again, like how you said, first you were not okay with writing, but I'm glad you're writing.
The thing is, I forgot to tell you about a few people would know about this thing called Jessa Khasi thing. I've put it on Instagram, and some people like it.
Yes.
That, it's. I think that's the key of humor. You have to learn to laugh at yourself. And in Jessa Khasi thing, it's just to look at something that is very common among us Khasis, certain things that we do, which, we've taken for granted. It's actually, there is a funny side to it,
Yes.
So
I've read.
I'm glad that in so many ways, from the response that that I see on Instagram, for instance, I like how, people are not, all out to get you, kind of, because you've pointed certain things.
Yes.
It's funny when when you notice, for instance, the one that really got to everyone is, and then memes came out of this, where I spoke about how in every Khasi family, we cook rice. The tool of measurement for to measure how much rice you'll cook is always the milkmaid can.
Yeah.
That I've noticed in just about everyone. My family, my friends, and so. But this is something that not many people,
Observe, for that
would
matter.
observe. So when I put it out, like, everybody was like, yes, in our house too. They do that. So
Yes.
in a way, it's funny because there are so many kinds of measuring tools out there. Like, you have the cups and everything.
Yes.
You bake, you use certain measuring
Right.
equipment. But for the Khasis, you cook rice, you need the old milkmaid can, that's the perfect measurement.
Yes, see, these are the nuances, when you see, like how you rightly pointed out, every culture has those nuances, and these are funny, and not many people observe, or not many people can, at that moment, they even realize, like you've said, they've taken for granted. But once you point it out with a sense of humor, instead of, and it's really nice, like you said, that the response is very positive because they relate to, and instead of getting offended. Nowadays, unfortunately, in today's world, even if you put something in humor, like laughing at yourself, other people get offended. They said, I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine, so I had written down that, there's a time when we laugh at ourselves and we put a quote, suppose, laughing at ourselves, people will still be offended that you're having a low self-esteem or something. It's not about that. Everything is not about an issue. It's about the humor which we can gather it. Call it a dark humor, call it just the nuances, the basic nuances. I think that's very important. And how you said that, those things also sometimes people get offended. But in your write-ups, they were actually relating to and taking it in a very positive way. I think that's something, we all can also enjoy. And we need to look at the, sometimes even the mundane things which, can bring out. Actually, when you point it out like this, I'm sure with the other posts also I've seen. When I've gone through your posts, so I've seen, and my friend was like, hey, I like this poem, or those lines. It's so relatable, to our Khasi culture. So I think it's a very positive way of looking things. That's really, really nice. So when you talk about inspiration, if you are to feel that if you're writing like you said, you want to write books and all, what other thing inspires you besides writing? What are you, to get to know a better, to have a better, knowing of you, to say,
Okay.
so to say?
I think there's something very important that I need to put it out there. Writing, I had always written, but I had never gone public. I have these. I like these creative spurts of just doing, expressing myself in different ways, but all of this has always come at the end of prayer. So I know that many people feel that this is something very outdated to talk about prayer and how, but for me this has always it comes to me very naturally because everything is an answer to that. So my faith is very strong. I may not always act, the way that everyone's expects me to, but the main inspiration I feel is I get it at the end of every prayer. And another would be, I read a lot, so I used to. I don't read that much these days, but I read a lot. But more than anything, I feel there's always that, the fact that you have so many people who actually support what you do. And
Right.
I always go around telling, it's nonsense what I write, the Jasakasi thing. I don't get a single penny out of it or, anything, but it's just fun. And I actually have friends and family who actually say, why not, this makes
Yes.
people smile. So, go on.
That's what I wanted to know, that what inspires you and what keeps you writing. And you said, this moments of spurts of creativity. I think it takes, it actually, gets you going. And what you said was a beautiful thing about, see, again, people expectations is always has been a stereotyped expressing yourself or how you conduct yourself. But spirituality, it's nothing to do with the religion, I believe also strongly, is that how you connect, spiritually how you connect. And that what keeps you going, which is a very, very, I think, in my personal opinion, it's a very strong, foundation for actually to coming out, to handling situations, to bringing out positivity. It is like the backbone of it, which is so wonderful. And like we said, and I'm glad that you've put it across, because I think, again, stereotypical image of, since you're spiritual, so you have to behave in a certain
You
way.
can't laugh.
Exactly. There are certain things. Again, I think we need to break the stereotype, this glass ceiling of, that please let us grow, let us evolve with a better positivity, and a positive mindset. And actually, how you said, bring a smile. When your family supports, I think support system is also very important.
True.
And you have that, which is so wonderful, because I think that keeps you going. We really want to continue for so long, so much to talk about, but unfortunately, we are running short of time. So, any message you want to give to the young people who are interested in writing, or, like you said, introverts who cannot express them. They could not be in, the medium might not be writing, but could be any other medium. What would you like to tell our viewers? If you could just tell, especially younger lot who are, going through a lot of emotions, a gamut of emotions, what would you tell them?
I feel that it's so wrong that people think that only certain people are blessed with creativity. It's absolutely wrong. We all have creativity in us. It's just, how we actually go about expressing this that actually differs from one person to another. So I feel for any young person who wants to write, I think they should just, first you start with journaling, and then you can, social media platforms like Instagram or Facebook, you're bound to have at least a few friends or family members who are going to support you. And once you start with this, once you get a little bit of support, it might just, push you to write further. But in order to do that, you have to actually, write every day. That is key to when it comes to writing. And it doesn't necessarily have to be on humor, or it doesn't have to be, you can write about just about anything and everything. And one thing is that you will understand that the minute you start writing, many people will actually, go up and tell you, I actually understood what you wrote about, be it a poem or a prose piece. But they will actually enjoy, and that in itself will actually encourage you to, to write more. But I also feel that you need to read a lot. That's key, and that telling myself also, I haven't read in a long while. But reading actually inspires you, because you get to see how how someone else thinks, and you have certain styles and genres that you can actually adopt in your own way. So that really helps.
I think that's wonderful, because I think the younger lot needs to know, and more importantly, express yourself. Whatever is in your mind, I think expressing oneself is very important. So, younger lot, don't feel scared, don't feel ashamed, just express. Start journaling, how she has said, Mebandaiaka said, and see how it goes. Once you start writing, you'll get the flow, or in whatever way you can express. Nothing should stop you, and don't feel judged. Because like we said, there will be some people who will judge you, but then there will be a whole lot more supporting you. I'm sure our viewers would like to hear a few lines from your poems and whatever you've written. So Meba, would you kindly just, whatever you feel like, just share a few lines with our viewers, so even our viewer could enjoy, please.
Sure. This is a poem I wrote for Good Friday last year. So it goes very deep. So this is what I would really like to share.
Please go ahead.
Okay, it says, "Crinkled noses because I'm not like you. Yes, we are not the same. Yours is a Jesus who waits for you in church every Sunday, who loves a slow walk around the garden of life. Yours is a Jesus who has seen you out of the pit. Yours is a Jesus in shiny clothes and gentle smiles. we're not the same. Mine is a Jesus with white linen, soiled by dirty fingers that grab him any way they can. One who throws his head back and laughs when I tell him the crazy things I've done for love. My Jesus goes on adventures with me because, unlike you, I have no clue what I'll do next. We rush through life. We dive from our mistakes. We, never just I. Even your crinkled noses. We, not just I. My Jesus meets me in the dead ends, in the last vapors of a pot of faith that is no longer steaming or bubbling. He's the breeze that dances into an airtight life. He's the voice that echoes through the tunnels of my dark cave. I'm happy your Jesus stays fixed, but I'm glad mine joins me in every adventure. So no, we're not the same. Because perhaps you'll understand that while you may be an arrow pointing up with far less sin, with readiness within, I and those like me are but a horizontal line through the sands of time. He came for us both, verticals and horizontals. Perhaps that's why he chose the cross, to tell you more than himself that he can be both and many more, for he is the great I am.
Wonderful. And we would like to have some, it's very beautiful and very, very deep. Thank you for sharing that. And you could share just few lines from just being, just Khasi. Yeah.
Oh, just a Khasi thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the eternal truth of being a Khun Khaddo. And the textbooks will tell you that the Khun Khaddo is, someone everyone would aspire to be because you're showered with love and, family inheritance. But this is the truth. Being a Khaddo is not quite what all the hype is about. The Ksiar and Jakaputa aside, the Khaddo will, until she comes of age, wear only hand-me-downs, will be everybody's errand girl because pibarit dote, that's what they always say, and will have to listen to a whole lot of peki himmen, pipan, at dukhi jaitu. So, it's not what the textbook says. Reality is very, very dark for the Khaddo, actually.
Thank you so much for sharing those lines.
Thank you.
With this, we come to the end of this wonderful program. Thank you again for being a part of this program. It was wonderful having you, and I'm sure it has helped a lot of younger people to, relate to what you're saying and feel encouraged. Thank you once again for having us in a wonderful home, and thank you, viewers, for watching it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.